The streets of Ayodhya are draped in banners, buzzing with the expectation of a coronation. But behind closed doors, the crown is being set aside. Instead of ascending the throne, Ram is preparing for 14 years of banishment. His father, King Dashrath, is bound by a past promise to grant his wife 2 boons, and she has demanded Ram's exile. Ram accepts the decision without a trace of resistance. This chart illustrates the specific logic of Dharma at play here. In this framework, the king's word sits at the top of the hierarchy. It functions as an absolute obligation that carries more weight than the crown prince's right to the throne. Ram defines his authority not by his ability to take the throne, but by his immediate willingness to give it up. Within the palace, the focus shifts to Sita and Lakshman as they process the reality of this sudden departure. Sita argues that her own duty is tied to her husband's. If he lives in the forest, she views her place as being right beside him. Lakshman similarly rejects the idea of staying behind. He chooses fraternal loyalty over the comforts of the capital, committing himself to his brother's protection. Before leaving, the 3 exchange their royal silks and gold jewelry for the rough bark garments of forest dwellers. By discarding these physical ornaments, the trio effectively places their personal character above the symbols of their rank. When the trio finally steps out to face the public, they are no longer dressed as royals, but as ascetics. For the citizens who had gathered to celebrate a coronation, the sight is a shock. The city's mood shifts instantly from celebration to grief. Despite the desperate pleas from the weeping crowd, Ram remains completely composed. He boards the chariot and commands it forward. King Dashrath watches the departure in a state of collapse. He is caught between the rigidity of his word and the consequences of the tragedy it has created. The king's adherence to his promise has achieved its legal goal, but at the cost of the kingdom's internal stability. As the sun begins to set, the chariot moves away from the city center and toward the outer boundaries of the kingdom. This map tracks their progress. As the chariot crosses that line, it leaves the safety of the city and enters the wilderness. Many citizens continue to follow the chariot, unwilling to let the procession go. To ensure they return home, Ram orders the charioteer to speed away under the cover of darkness, intentionally losing those who followed him. This act of leaving his followers behind in the dark is a harsh necessity, required to fulfill the broader terms of his exile. By the next morning, the crowd has returned to Ayodhya. The noise of the previous day is gone, replaced by a heavy silence. King Dashrath's health fails rapidly as he faces the reality that his son is truly gone. While Ayodhya remains a wealthy and fortified capital, the departure of the heir creates a visible political and moral vacuum. The gold and stone of the city remain, but the capital now lacks the leadership that gave those structures purpose. Far from the city walls, the trio reaches the edge of a deep, ancient forest. They are leaving a world of palace protocol for a landscape defined by unpredictable dangers. The 14-year countdown is now underway. They no longer have the protection of the royal guards or the resources of the state. In this new environment, they are relying entirely on their commitment to their principles. The exile now moves from a legal decree to a lived reality. The coming years will test whether these principles can survive the transition from the palace to the wild.